What's going on, real Detroit Lions fans? We are coming at you with a great video today, man. We have some exciting things to talk about. We are 1 week away from the NFL draft, and this is an exciting time to be a Lions fan. You know, last time we drafted this early, this was back when we drafted Ndamukong Suh, and back then, it ushered in an era of success that I haven't seen in my entire lifetime. Even though we just still didn't get any playoff wins, but it ushered in an era of success that I haven't seen since, and I've never seen before that in my entire lifetime. So I'm excited for what's to come in this year's draft. Picking at number 3, we have so much draft capital. It's going to be a great, great draft. But before we get started, I wanted to, start off with, first of all, introducing the panel. So obviously, you got my boy J-Mo. J-Mo, what's going on, bro?
Man, what's good, y'all? Let's have a good show tonight.
All right. We have a new guest here, Damone Hardy. He's he's constantly in the chat, in Twitter. He's debating Lions all the time, and it's great to have him on here. What's going on, Damone? Say hi to the peeps.
How y'all doing? Nice. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you, bro. Andrew, why don't you say hi to everybody in the chat?
Yeah, you know what to do. We got Kyle Webb, we got DMAP Zoom, Devin99, Jake Carrillo, Randy Nathaniel, Detroit, Eon Big Will, You Can't Hate Me Now, Mackenzie, and Chris Cashbaugh. Let's get it.
All right, and last but not least, we have Luke G, the man himself. What's going on, Luke G? Say hi to the people in the chat.
Hey man, salute. We finna talk some football. This is what I live for. This is my heaven, people. If you ain't got no heaven, find it. This is mine right here. Let's get it.
And you know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So today we're going to start off a little bit different. So we usually just get right into the topics, but I wanted to, take this time to do something that we haven't had a chance to do before. So as many of you know, Damone, why don't you mute your mic, bro? Because there's a little background noise coming from you. So why don't you mute yourself real quick?
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I just wanted to get on here first and foremost before we get into the topics and, talk about some changes that we have going on in the DSA. And I feel like it is important to say it on the roundtable itself because these changes affect you guys, the fans, and it affects just us in general. So for those of you who do not know already, Micro Mike and TA from Noble Sports Entertainment have left the DSA, and it's very sad to talk about. Honestly, it's very hard to talk about because a lot of people say this is just football. We get on here talk about football on YouTube. It's really meaningless, and in the grand scheme of things, it is. Especially with stuff like the COVID-19 breakout going on, we could be talking about much more important things. But to me, the DSA is not just about a bunch of bros on YouTube talking football. We are a brotherhood. We're a family, and it hurts. I've created a bond and a relationship with everybody on the DSA. I love all you guys for real, and it's hard to see any one of us go. It really is. And I just, so if you guys will indulge me just for a couple minutes, I just wanted to, take the next couple minutes to really give them a proper send off and to shout them out because they're honestly really nice guys. I've gotten to know them the past few months. So, without further ado, I'm just going to get into it. All right. So TA, I know I have not personally been with you on many roundtables and we haven't had much interaction between you and I personally. However, I'm a fan of your channel and a fan of you as a person. You're a cool guy. You're one of the originators of the DSA, and without you, who knows where the DSA would have been today if you never started it with Luke and some of these other guys. So I just wanted to thank you for everything, and I will continue to follow your channel and hope you have even greater success in the future. And Mike, I have had a lot of interactions with. I've had the pleasure of being on many roundtables with him these past couple months that I've been on the DSA. And in fact, it was Mike that actually nominated Andrew and myself to join the DSA. And for that, I'll be forever grateful, seriously. And, you've been a cornerstone and a pillar of the DSA for a long time now. The DSA is what it is today because of your hard work and dedication. So you should be proud of what you've accomplished here. And I hope that you continue to work just as hard going forward in whatever direction, you choose to take your channel at this point. both of you guys, you've left a lasting impression on the DSA and on all of us as individuals. But I mean, I can't really speak for anybody else, but for me, in particular, I consider everybody on the DSA friends, and you two as well. I consider you guys friends for life. So I think I'm, speaking for everybody here when I'm saying if you guys ever choose to come back to the DSA, we will be waiting with open arms. So
support that. I
yeah.
definitely support that.
Well, so now that I said that, I just kind of want to open it up to the rest of the panel. Does anyone else have anything to add regards to
listen,
them leaving?
It definitely sucks. It sucks like big time, but I have always been a person to respect a person's decisions. And so, and I've said it before that yes, it sucks that they chose to do some things different, but I support them. I'm still subscribed to their channels. I still check out their stuff. And at the end of the day, like you said, it does not change anything because there is a certain level of it. There was a strong stability. At one point, it was just me and Mike doing the roundtables to keep the roundtables going. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the things where you look at it and you like, okay, it sucks, but it's luckily they're not dead and gone. They're still here. There's still somewhere for us to go and support them. There's still somewhere for us to go and be a part of the community. The DSA is not an organization. It is a community. That includes to the subscribers. That includes to all the Detroit people. There are people who are not have the DSA tag on them, and they're part of it. The Doses of Dion's, the Motor City Sports Talks. If you talk Lion Sports, you talk Detroit Sports, you're a part of this community. And so that's why it's the one pride. So yeah, it sucks. And like I said, I wish them nothing but the best. And if they have a change of heart, then hey, I am more than stoked to get that thing going.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you guys for some reason aren't subscribed to those two guys, yeah, it's TA from Noble Sports Entertainment and Micro Mike. So go over there, support them. They're still brothers here, and we appreciate all that they've done for the DSA.
I definitely want to say, man, I will miss them being in there because especially Noble Sports, because I remember before he even had his channel and we used to talk on YouTube, and then he made his channel. That was way before the DSA got started. Like I'm talking like a year and a half, like way before. And Micro Mike has always been my white brother from another mother. So it'll always be good, man. We'll still be on their channels and everything. Everything's all good over here, man. We wish them all the best, man. We definitely wish them all the best. Just try not to go live on 7, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, man. We don't do that type of stuff around here.
Just calling it how it is, J-Mo. Just
hey, man, I'm just typical J-Mo. Man, I told you, man. I can't, man.
Of course.
Let's start the show, bro. Let's start the show, man.
Absolutely. So
let's get it.
Yeah, well, all right. So with all that out of the way, we have a great show lined up for you for you guys today. So we're just gonna jump right into it right now. So the first question, and we're gonna go to Damone, the guest, first. Okay.
All right.
The question for you right now is: what position group do you believe needs to perform better than they did last year?
Defensive line, without question. I mean, you think about how we was. I mean, a lot of the team's success and the identity of this team has contributed to the defensive line. I mean, but then you think about like how they dropped off last year versus like the year from that. After we had got snacks and things of that nature. It was injuries had to do a lot with that. No Mike Daniels, no Hand. Trey Flowers was coming off his injury early. Austin Bryant was banged up, so we had a lot of guys like Kevin Strong and some other like third string, fourth string guys up in there. So we wasn't really able to get pressure the way that we wanted to. But I think a lot of it, like I said, is continuity. Just like how offensive line has to play together, defensive line has to play together because the battle's won in the trenches, right? I mean, O-line, D-line, you protect the quarterback, you run the ball, you go get the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And you create pressure. So if we just go look at it from that standpoint alone, I definitely would say the defensive line. But, considering the fact that there are so many injuries, and I hope it looks like we added some more depth and everything, I will start there. So.
All right, Damone coming in here, speaking facts right off the bat. Man, listen, I 100% agree with you, and that's my pick as well. I would say the defensive line needs to perform better than last year. And you're right. You're right. A lot of that was injury. So by default, just from health alone, we're going to play better on the defensive line. But that's something that definitely needs improvement. We need to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. We can't give them, 8, 9, 10 seconds to sit in the pocket, cleanest pocket I've ever seen in my life, and let them just, read their reads multiple times and pick whatever wide receiver they want.
I can throw through it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, JMO, why don't we go on to you? What do you believe is the positional group that needs to improve?
Man, I be throwing for 3,500 yards behind these pockets the Lions be giving these quarterbacks, man. Come on, dog. But I would say the linebackers. I know the defensive line was terrible, but the linebackers didn't help any. And even when I won't say even when the D line was good, but even when they were okay, the linebackers still had a lot of issues. Basically, our linebackers was a bunch of trash in a barrel, Devin Kennard pass rushing, and Jelani Tavai. That was it. I don't know what happened to Jared Davis. I'm still a big fan of the guy, but he forgot how to play football last year. Maybe it was the injury coming into this season, being injured. Y'all know how I feel about Christian Jones. He's utter fucking garbage. Terrible. And then, like I said, Devin Kennard was just pass rushing. He's not that really good at covering, and he's just Devon Kennard. He's the specialist that we wanted him to be.
Yeah, he can't cover. Yeah, he can. Cover.
And Tavai was Tavai. He was a very solid rookie. But he's just a rookie, and that's all that you're gonna get from him. So I think our linebackers have to improve drastically. That's why we brought in some guys like Jamie Collins, but I think the linebacking core has to improve. And I always say this, a lot of the top end defenses, they have a great linebacking core or a great D line. It's never usually like they got a great safeties and great corners. We've had great safeties and great corners and still not an overall great defense. But you shore up the middle or, any part of the front seven, it's going to work out. And I think we really need to get these linebackers so we can get some tackles and cover the middle of the football field because we can't do that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I could from that standpoint, you got a point. The one thing I might give you just a slight bit of pushback is in the defense, the way that it's structured, we run a 3-4 multiple, right? Like this is a scheme where they pride on stopping the run first and it's gap control, right? So they need lane cloggers, they need space eaters, and that allows the linebackers to flow easily to where the tackle's supposed to be, like the running back, the tight end, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So once you solidify that up front first, everything becomes easier. But if you like I said, Jared Davis was out of place a lot. Christian Jones can't cover. Yeah, Christian Jones can't cover nothing like that. So yeah, two things can be true. I always believed in that. So
my main thing with the linebackers is they didn't get off blocks pretty well. Even Tavai, like all of the linebackers in general, they couldn't get off any blocks. And yeah, the defensive line has to clog up space, but you know what I'm saying. Them top end linebackers, they can make up for certain things. And our linebackers can't make up for anything. We're dependent on the defensive line, and it shouldn't be like that. They should be able to stand along with the help from the line. But we couldn't get off blocks. Jared Davis missing tackles, Christian Jones missing tackles. Devin Kennard can tackle, but sometimes he'll miss just the wrong tackle. And it's no star power there at all. Our best linebacker is Tavai and Jamie Collins we just brought in. So I think we need to add a lot of star power there. Our defensive line was injured, but it's a lot. We got a couple budding stars there with Hen and definitely with Trey Flowers. So I think we got more star talent there. Even with the safeties, we got Tracy Walker. Our linebacker doesn't have that one standout great player, and I love Jamie Collins, but we don't know what he's gonna do here yet.
That's fair.
I'm with both of you guys, man. I miss the days that we had prime DeAndre Levy on our team, man. That guy was a beast. Oh, and his beard game was on point, man. But all right, Andrew. So we're gonna go to you next, man. What do you believe is the positional group that really needs to improve from last season?
Man, I just want to say We got 14 people in the chat. We got some people that have come on since I first shout out. So Motor City Thanos, K-Man Season, Dole Dynamite, and D-Hype, what up? I couldn't agree more with J-Mo, man. I'm all about having good linebacker talent on the team, but I'm going to change it up just because you guys have already said D-line and linebacker. I'm going to say offensive line, because not only is that going to protect Stafford, which I have said multiple times that if Stafford goes down, our entire season is over regardless of anything. So we need to be able to run the ball more effectively, because when you can run the ball, that takes so much pressure off your defense. It allows them to get rest. So even if your defense isn't that talented, if they're rested, they still have a chance. But it also helps just manage the clock. If you have a good offensive line and you can manage a clock better, your team's going to perform better. And the team that comes to mind right away is the Eagles and the Cowboys. Yes, their records are like 8-8, 7-9, but they had such bad defenses, and their O-lines are the only things really keeping them going. And they're still able to get 8-8 to an 8-8 season. And then you add the fact that we have Stafford. I mean, how can you go wrong with establishing your offensive line and kind of being able to manage the clock better and take some pressure off your your defense?
Yeah, no, I'm totally in agreement with you. Honestly, all these positions really need to perform better, and I'm not surprised that any of us have said them at all. Luke, what do you think, man? What positional group do you think needs to improve significantly from last season, man?
It has to be the offensive line. I mean, I think both lines need prayer, but I know that the defensive line right now stands to look better than the offensive line. You got to ask yourself the question: who's playing guard for us? Is it Kenny Wiggins? Is it Joe Dial? Who's the guard for us? Are you going to put Big V there? Then who's playing right tackle? So when you start to look at the puzzle pieces and try to put them in the right place to get the picture, it don't stand out. And to me, if you're going to do something, you definitely got to improve that offensive line. Now, don't get me wrong. I still believe when you're picking in the top 5, top 4, you better take the most phenomenal player, regardless of position, that can come in and help you win. And if that person is an offensive lineman, take them. If it's a cornerback, take them. If it's a running back, whatever it is, take them. To me, it has to be able to be complementary to what is going to get us the dub. For me, this season needs to be win the division first. Playoffs will come after that. I don't, making the playoffs without winning the division is just, got to do something that never been done before. So for me, I think you definitely want to look at it and say, hey, I want to be in a position where this team gets better. And to me, I'm with Andrew. Build that line up and really try to establish the run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think we need both the trenches to need to be solidified. They both need to perform better, and they both need to be healthier than last season. That's without a doubt. Okay, so, going into the next topic here, J-Mo was bringing up how Tavai is pretty much our best linebacker at this point, and yeah, I mean, that's probably true. So going off of that, okay, we have a lot of players that were first-year Lions last year, whether it be rookies or just guys that we got in free agency, and they were first-year Lions. So the question I have today is, given all of the moves we made in free agency and all of the additions that we made in free agency, who do you guys think of all of the second-year Lions? What do you think it means for all of the second-year Lions? So, Tavai, Will Harris, and so on. Why don't we start off with you, Luke?
For me, what this means is we're going to find out who our GM is for real, because he's been killing it on those late round picks. They've been contributors on the team. Some have made it, some have not. Some are still on practice squad. Some have with the other teams and been okay. We're going to find out what he really is. So to me, if you can somehow, some way, I don't know how you do it, but if you can somehow, some way start to give these guys more playing time, it makes sense. I really want to see more of Amani Oruwariye. I do. I want to see Austin Bryant actually touch the field. Like, not just go out and touch it because he want to see what it feel like, but like actually play. I need him playing. Take a snap. I need him on there. I need Deshaun Hand to be healthy and get some snap percentages in there.
He's
And so to
damn
me,
disruptive.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you just look at the second year players and all the people that wasn't playing, you had to ask yourself that question of like, yo, when are you going to give them that chance to play? You know, the good coaches know how to put those players in. And I'm telling you right now, the one thing I've noticed with this Lions team is they give people a chance to earn their spot. And if you don't, it's on you.
Yeah, 100%. See, I'm going to go next because, so, you know, we made a lot of moves. We got some linebackers. We got some safeties. And to me, the biggest guy that needs to, you know, what it means for this guy is Will Harris because we got guys. We got some safeties. We went out and traded for Deron Harmon. We got some linebackers, so that's some competition for Tavai. But then we got rid of Devin Kennard. So Tavai, I think he's stuck in that spot. But Will Harris, we drafted him in the 3rd round. This guy's supposed to be a contributor. And
did we trade up for him? If I'm not mistaken, did we trade up for Will Harris?
We did. And he was a
traded
guy.
Minnesota.
He was in Pascaloni's defense in Boston College, and we thought we got some kind of steal, like another Tracy Walker or something like that. And he really didn't.
I don't know. We didn't think that at all. I'm not
saying we. What I meant was Bob Quinn and Patricia. And
okay.
So they clearly thought so, they wouldn't have traded up for him. You know, they liked his bravado, they liked his leadership capabilities, and they liked his speed. And I think every one of us liked those qualities as well. But he just wasn't an NFL safety. So to me, especially with us primed to get Simmons with a 3rd overall pick, I think that he's the odd man out in the safeties room right now, especially with Harmon there, especially with Tracy Walker there. And I think that this really has to do with him being, you know, the odd man out here. Andrew, what do you think about our second-year Lions, whether it be guys that we got last year in free agency or in the draft? What do you think this means, all of the guys that we picked up this year?
Man, if I was them, I would be nervous for my job because unless you're Hawkinson or Tavai, almost every single one of these players could potentially be off the team by the start of the season. I mean, Ty Johnson, you know, like Luke said in a different video, even with Carry-On going down and all these guys going down, they didn't give Ty Johnson a chance. They kept bringing in random running backs. So he could potentially be off the team. Amani, I love Amani. I hope they give him a shot so he's not too worried. Travis Fulgham wasn't on the team during the season. I mean, Isaac Nada got kicked off the team for a while and brought back. And then Austin Bryant was hurt all season. You know, so like if I was them, I would be really worried for my job and I would be busting my butt trying to do everything I can preparing for the season because I really think they're going to address almost all of these positions in the draft. So,
yeah, you make a very good point. You make a really good point because you're right. When you go through and you look at it, there has been this level of uncertainty past that 3rd round when it comes to players.
Past the 2nd round.
Really has too. You're right about the 2nd because I remember when they drafted Brad Kaya, I was excited. Like I'm like, hey, I watched that quarterback play in Miami. He had nothing, and he balled out. And now they released him. He on the Colts, and the Colts is trying to groom him up. And a lot of times these NFL players, it boils down to who you know, who likes you, who gives you a chance. It's opportunity. So to me, you're right. Will Harris could be the odd guy out of this little bitty. Unless he's gonna play special teams.
I don't know, man. That whole Will Harris pick, like, to be honest, a lot of Bob Quinn picks don't confuse me, but that was the one pick in like the last 3 years where I was just like, "What? We taking another safety?" Like we just took Tracy Walker. I'm like, why are we taking a safety here? I thought we were going to get like a running back or a cornerback, and we picked Will Harris, and I was like, what? So we'll see how he does.
Really, in my opinion, if we didn't get Amani Oruwariye that late, this draft would have been looked at as a bust. I'm completely honest with you, man.
You might be onto something there. Think about it. Let's be honest.
No, I don't know about
Let's
that.
be honest.
I don't know about that.
Well, this is my reasoning. This is my reasoning.
I don't know about
because we got Amani was projected to be a 3rd-round pick. If you switch the Will Harris
second.
and
Second.
Okay, fine, second. Okay.
Excellent value, by the way.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Excellent value, by the way.
Oh yeah, excellent. It was a steal. Everybody agrees with that. So listen, if you were to switch those, either Will Harris and the Amani Oruwariye picks, okay, and we got Will Harris in the 5th, nobody would care that he's a bust, okay? But the fact is we got him in the 3rd, and then we are lucky as hell to get Amani in the 5th. So if we didn't even get Amani in the 5th, we would have had a bust in the 3rd round, and then who's the rest of our draft? I don't even know.
Austin
PJ Johnson not on the team. Austin Bryant hurt.
Fulgham hasn't even seen the field.
I think he got released.
Bryant, Johnson.
I think he just got released though, like recently.
Basically, what's happened is they're all either off the field because of injury, or they're not on the team anymore. And that's after year 1, which is really sad to say considering they're rookies.
I think we need to be a little bit more patient, man. I don't know.
Definitely. I do agree with that.
I always do with like the typical person or the typical like draft scouts and what they say. Like I give 3 years to develop. 3 years. Like that's when you grade a draft class, because sometimes you just don't know until you know. Right? Like
right.
For example, what's Jalen Smith, from the Cowboys, he was picked in the 1st round somewhere, wasn't he? Like his first year or so, no,
Jalen Smith was taking 2nd.
He was taking 2nd?
Yeah, okay. 2nd. He was projected to be a high 1st round pick, but that injury scared off a lot of people, and Dallas was like, forget it.
Okay, I think he tore his ACL or something like that, or I can't necessarily remember, but his first year he was okay, you know what I'm saying, playing next to Sean Lee, who's been a Pro Bowl linebacker, and then they was able to get Leighton Vander Esch in the 1st round, and then both of those guys, Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, became all pros. So sometimes you just don't know until you know. Like sometimes you just gotta put the players next to a player that complements their skill set. And with a whole bunch of injuries and stuff like that, we don't really know who complements who at this moment.
That's facts right there. I really 100% agree with you.
Who. So I give them 3 years. I'm willing to give them 3 years. Like if 2 or 3, if they can't be at least make the rotation and play a decent amount of snaps and contribute by year 3, then they're probably a bust, because it don't take you that long to get adjusted to the NFL. Not 3 years.
Yeah, you got to remember in Will Harris's case, Tracy Walker is really the only safety under contract for more than a year. So all of these guys are just here, and if he has a good season, then he'll be fine. But I don't think. I mean, Bob Quinn does make mistakes like Tease Tabor, for example, but I think they picked Will Harris for a reason. And I'm willing to figure out why they did what they did. But back to the question you were talking about, it's all about opportunity. Opportunity is everything in sports, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, it's always opportunity. Well, all of these guys that we shipped out, now Amani has the opportunity to be the number 1 or number 2 corner. Tracy Walker, now that's his defense. He's run the safety room. He already did, but now it's really, with Diggs gone, he's the guy back there. And now his position next to him is up for grabs. Jelani Tavai is going to be fine. We don't have to worry about him. And then you have Reggie Ragland and Elijah Lee, even though he's a special teamer. Those are the guys that's going to be fighting for linebacker spots. So Tavai and Jamie Collins, they got their linebacker spots. It's Jared Davis and Christian Jones, who I hope gets off this team, that we got to worry about. And then on the offensive line, I think we haven't brought that up, but it's going to be a lot of battles and a lot of opportunity there. And I'm praying whoever mumbo jumbo that they put together protect Matthew Stafford, because I'm not that confident in them. But I don't know.
Let me. So I was waiting for somebody to bring that up again. So the offensive line, right? So we let GG walk, and they gave him $11 million a year. Love GG, above average player, but he's not an all pro. He's not a Pro Bowler. I'm not giving you $11 million a year. You ain't Quentin Nelson, so you ain't getting $11 million from me. So you ain't Marshall Yano, who just retired. You not that good. So I'm not giving him $11 million.
So got him down quick.
Yeah.
No, man, I feel like. Oh wait, hold on. I feel like fans overrated Glasgow so much. And look, I love Glasgow because he went to Michigan. That's my boy. But last year was his best year, and that wasn't even that good. And I'm like, y'all really think he was that good? I'm like, come on, bro. He's not that much better than Larry Warford. Like, what y'all talking about?
So
I think the thing that we also got to take into account is the fact that aside from people who could be on the outs or who could be on their way off this team, and y'all know I can't stand Matt Patricia, but I love any coach who creates uncomfortability in competition battle. There ain't no lock at guard. Good. You want it, earn it. And if you want to keep it, I got somebody behind you who want it more. Oh, you want to play tackle? Good. Just like I gave you the contract, don't mean you starting. So to me, I'll give him 1,000 praises for doing that, because to me that creates a level of competitiveness that every team should have. I do think there was a certain point in Lions history where certain people showed up because their spots were guaranteed no matter what. Like I remember one season, Calvin Johnson fell off big time, and people was like, "Oh, you crazy?" I said, "Bro, he was dropping passes with nobody touching them. I mean, nobody." And now there's a level of competition, but I do get what you're saying. I think the Will Harris pick was shameful. I still don't get it. He was supposed to be the replacement to Tavon Wilson, and he looked like much of the same to me. So
I saw an article from M Live.
I give him that. He's faster than Tavon.
I got to tell you guys something. Listen, like, I understand that it's nice to have an open position at the guard spot so we can see who really can win it out. But I saw an article from M Live. I think I saw it today. And it said that Kenny Wiggins can be the leader of our offensive line now that Grant Glasgow is
there. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bro. This is my first day on the show. Don't do that.
Don't get me started, dog.
Look, I didn't write the article.
I'm gonna give y'all the floor in a second, but let me just address the whole offensive line thing, right? So, if we just I study like plenty of tape going back, looking at the offensive line. And the reason why I think a lot of people, I would say like overhyped Graham is because like he was a player that while he wasn't elite, he didn't give up a whole lot of bad plays. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't like giving up sacks left and right, or he wasn't making like dumbass penalties like holding and stuff like that. And he was versatile. You know what I'm saying? Being able to play left guard, right guard. He even played center. I think he played center his first season or something like that, or his second season, something like that. He played center a little bit. So he didn't give up a whole lot of bad plays, and he was versatile. So I think that's where the love from Gigi comes from. And not only that, he is a hometown product. So like I said, do I think he was good? Yeah, I think he was good, but he's not $11 million like good to me. But if we just look at the way that the offensive line is structured, I don't really think it's as bad as y'all like to think that it is. And like I said, this is just from what I saw when I'm watching the tape. I don't think it's as bad as y'all like to say that it is. Because if we go just left to right, our biggest hole is going to be right guard. I'm not gonna hold you. I agree with you. Like that's our biggest hole on the offensive line. But this is a good guard in a tackle class, so they can find one of those guys early. So we got Decker, and then you got. Y'all might not be sold on Dahl, but I'm absolutely sold on Dahl. He's a 5th round pick who turned himself from a fat boy into a hawk.
No,
he can pass block his ass off. He can pass block his ass off. I'm the only one who like Joe Dahl. I'm the only one who like Joe Dahl. He does not like to be a 5th round pick to turn from a 5th round pick into like a starter like that. That gotta show like your work ethic and the stuff that you put in. Not only that, he was one of the greatest guards coming out of college. So you got Decker, Dahl. Ragnar, that goes without saying. That's all. He's going to be an all-pro. He's the next best thing, right? Right guard. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe they get like one of the guys like Ruiz or something like that, or one of the other guys that get him to play guard. You also got Garnett, the former 1st round pick that came from San Francisco. You got Bo, the Wisconsin kid who was pretty good coming out of college, but they just he's more of a developmental project. And then you got Wiggins. And while I'm not necessarily sold on Wiggins to be the starting right guard or anything like that, he does have a lot of experience. That Chargers team that went 12-4, he started that year. So So if you want to say
Where's
right
he
guard,
been?
I got you. I'm just saying.
Where's
just-
that guy at?
I'm just saying. Like when that Chargers team went 12-4, he was starting. That's all I'm saying. And that was only a few years ago. He was starting on the offensive line. And then you got right tackle, which is Tavai. He's gonna be your right tackle. Like I watched his tape. He's solid. Like in the playoff game against Clowney, he held his ass up. They put him against all-pro defensive lineman. D-Law held his ass up. So he's going to be your right tackle, and he can maul you in a run game. That's your right tackle. So if you want to say right guard, I'll give you that. But here's the things that, like I said, so the overall the offensive line was ranked 12th. 12th. That's even with having Rick Wagner having a bad year. That's with the guard rotation. Think about that. They was ranked 12th. Well, all that. Well, so that means if we just upgrade a spot, they're a top 10 offensive line. That's even with the health and like the depth and the injuries, all that. They were ranked 12th. Considering where we've been at in the past, I think that's a step above.
That's PFF though.
That they're not the end all be all.
It's funny. It's fun. Let's get back. Hold on. Let's get back on track. The question again, repeat the question because we all over the place, and I know I could have killed Damone's argument a long time ago. If I knew he was quoting Pro Football Focus, and y'all know I can't stand Pro Football Focus, and to kill his whole argument, I simply just had to go. We did play the Cardinals. We played the Redskins. They attacked them. The Redskins are picking before us, and we lost. We played the Giants. They picking after us, and we won. We played some bums. So let's not act like
not even
like that. Every team plays bombs.
Not okay. Not even that.
Every team plays bombs. You can't use that as no excuse. Every team got gimmies on their schedule.
Damone, let me just say this, bro. Okay, I can see. Listen, I don't care about rankings and whatever. Did they do their job? That's what I want to know. Did they pass protect Stafford? Not really.
Yes, they did. They went the. There was a couple of games where they didn't even allow a sack. The Eagles game, they had one of the better D lines in the NFL. They didn't even allow a sack. Didn't allow a sack that game. The Chargers game didn't allow a sack that game.
Listen.
Got hurt because he had to scramble because Joe Dog.
Dude, Stafford
Wait. This is the thing. People are so quick to equate offensive line's performance when they don't give up a sack. Tell me when he got time in the pocket. How many seconds was he sitting in the pocket? See, we can figure out the rest later. I don't care if he gave up a sack or not. We had a game, real talk. I'll never forget this.
I said the whole O-line didn't give up a sack. That's the whole O-line. So that's
I hear you, but that does not equate to them being holding up. Quarterback, I keep telling people, sacks are cool. They're overrated. It's quarterback pressure. I'll give you a perfect example. We know what the Minnesota Vikings did. They sacked them a whole lot, right? Tore them up here to high heaven. But go back to any other game outside of the Lions and look at some of these teams where they wasn't doing that. You've seen teams pressure a quarterback so much that they look human. Aaron Rodgers just went through it and not be sacked, not giving up a sack because the quarterback either threw the ball away or threw the ball for a catch or threw the ball over somebody, whatever it was, or they ran the ball or whatever. That's not a fair measurement to talk about the line from that point. The truth is still current. The line needs improvement. That's the only fact we should be focusing on. Do the line need improvement or not? I think we all would say yes. So all this other stuff about they're not as bad as we think they are because we can upgrade any one of those spots minus probably Frank Wagner.
And that's my thing, though. It's the unknown. The unknown. So you don't know if these guys are going to be consistently good or not. And a lot of these guys could be replaceable with a lot of better talent in the NFL. And I'm not going to judge all of those stats because Matthew Stafford didn't play half of the year. So it's a little bit weird for me to judge the offensive line.
Right, you can't even do that.
He also held on to the ball. He also held on the ball a long time. So is that on Stafford?
What game? Tell me.
All right, guys, we got to move on. Listen, I agree with both you guys.
Stafford holds on to the ball a long time.
Okay.
Bruh, listen. Let me real. We're gonna move it on. But let me just say this one last piece. I just say this one last piece. Go back to that last part of the season. The reason things looked better because Blau and Driscoll were mobile. There were games where Stafford were mobile. Hold on to the ball, my butt. I have watched every single game, not just on TV, extensively. Went back and watched play by play. Hold on to the ball. No, he's not holding on to the ball. They're calling long routes. You can't throw the ball until they complete the routes. So talk about the coach long routes. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, all right. We got to move on, guys. I see both your points. Seriously, there's question marks all over the O-line, but there is potential. Seriously, and somebody brought up the tackle that we got from Wisconsin. It was like Bo Benchois. Yeah,
Yep.
he has potential as well, and hopefully, we do develop him into a contributor. But we got to move on. So the next topic we want to bring up. So we got the draft going on in exactly 1 week. Okay. We are so excited for this. Everybody should be excited. It's a moment of optimism for the Lions. Like I said at the top of the show, we haven't drafted this early since we got Ndamukong Suh. I'm so fired up that we have the 3rd overall pick, and I can't wait to see what happens because there's no way to mess this up. And if they do, it'll be just a typical Lions move. But
I don't know. I think there's no way to mess this one up. Just like
no, there is, because if they take Tua, you messed up. If you take Tua, you messed up.
Yeah.
All right.
Outside of quarterback, yeah.
But talking about Tua and Justin Herbert, there are teams that want to move up to our pick in the draft. So we got some trade scenarios for you guys from ESPN. So I'm going to put that on the screen right now. Okay. So these are 4 scenarios that ESPN has put out. Okay. So I want to talk about them a little bit, and then I want to give, let everybody go, to give me the scenario you want the Lions to take and what would be the best for the team going forward. So the first one is the Oakland Raiders. Okay. And we would trade our 3rd overall pick to go back to 12, and we would also get the 19th overall pick and the 80th overall pick. The second one is with the Jaguars. So we would drop down to 9 from 3, and we would also get the 20th. Next one is the Dolphins. We'd drop back only 2 spots to 5, and we'd pick up the 39. So we'd have 2 very, very high second-round picks. And the 4th one is the Chargers, where we would drop back to 6th, and we would get the number 37th pick, so very similar to the Dolphins, but we'd also get a 4th-round pick in 2021. So which one looks like the best to you? Let's start off with our guest.
I like the you can't really go wrong with the Dolphins or the Chargers. I guess if if you drop back one more spot from because the difference between having a cherry with the Dolphins and the Chargers is going from 3 to 5 and 3 to 6. So and they threw in the extra 4th round pick with the Chargers. So that one's fine. The Dolphins is fine. I don't really like the Raiders because because then you going outside the top 10 and those like the must pick the can't miss prospects, like it's harder to get one of those guys or whatever unless they fall or receive like a run on like quarterbacks or something like that. I'm not really fond of like the Jaguars. So me personally, I probably have to go with the Chargers because you could probably still get one of those guys like Simmons or Okuda or Brown, and then you get we will have what? Because we got 32. No, we got 35. And then what we have? What's the other pick that we got from Philly? I think that's we have. No, that's the 3rd round pick. My bad. So we have 37. So we have 2 high 2nd round picks, 35 and 37, and then you have an extra 4th. And then I think we have what gives us 2 4th, so we could package one of those to like move back up into like the 3rd round or something like that. So I like the Chargers, Hall. That's the one I would take.
All right, yeah, no, that's a good one. Honestly, I don't know which one I'd pick. Why don't we go to you, JMO? Because I don't want to pick yet.
I can go if you want.
All right, Luke, you're going for it. Go ahead.
I can go for. Let's see. Let's scrap the Raiders in the garbage. Let me see.
It really is.
Let's see. Let's take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Toss that in the trash too. Let's put that Dolphins trade into the shredder. That one need to go shredded up.
Luke's not gonna pick any of them.
And let's take the Chargers one with some lighter fluid and put it on fire. This is ridiculous. All right. First things first. Anytime I see a pick and I only see 3 picks in return, we ain't talking right. The Dolphins trade can't be for real because you're not gonna come talk to me about moving up 2 spots and not be willing to give up 2 firsts. Why everybody else get 2 firsts but us? Okay, Rams got 2 firsts. Hell, the Bears gave up the 2 firsts. How we gonna be the only team to walk out without getting 2 firsts? So first of all, that one gotta go to the shredder. Let's go to the Chargers. So you're gonna move up 3 spots, huh? And what you gonna give us the 6th pick, the 2nd round pick at 37, and a 4th in next year's draft? Who in the hell we taking in next year's draft? Who's that player we picking up? So yeah, let's set that one on fire. Let's talk about the Oakland Raider trade. So I'm gonna fall from 3 to 12, but I do get 12 and 19, so then 2 first round pick, and then I walk away with 80. Ain't that a 3rd round pick? 4th round pick? So
it's a third. It's
a 3rd, right? So a 3rd round pick. Okay, cool. So I get 2 firsts, but then I get 2 firsts in the 3rd. For you to move up, how many spots? 9?
Nah,
hold on. First of all, let's be for real about this. If you want to move up, there's a price to it. You see what I'm saying? Like this is the difference between street prostitute and high-end escort. What you want?
he said high end.
What you want?
He said high
This is
end.
what you want. I'm just saying. What do you want? You cannot. None of these trades make sense. They can't because what you will see is. Listen, if I had to pick one, absolutely pick one, probably Chargers.
That's where I was at with it. That's where I was at. I'm not saying I'd take that. I'm saying if you're gonna move up to get a quarterback, that's the like or whatever the case may be. Like that's the one, the compensation that like I can, you know what I'm saying, that I can like, all right, but I wouldn't necessarily. But I'm with you. Like if you're gonna move up from 3 to 6 and you're trying to get a quarterback, you're giving me 2 firsts for that. So I'm with you. Me and you agree.
Right, like, you know, why would I listen? Why would you cheat yourself? Like if you know for a fact that right now you can get any car that you want for free, and you can walk away with a Lamborghini, a McLaren. Why would you pick the eco-friendly like Prius? Why would you do this?
Hold up. So what are you saying is the eco-friendly Prius? Is you're saying dropping down to 5 to the Dolphins pick, you're getting an eco-friendly player?
No, I'm saying all the offers. Yeah, I'm saying all the offers are essentially them not giving me the value for what they know it is.
Right. So you're settling for less. Hold
on. That's understandable. Okay. But if these are the only trades available, you're telling me you're just going to, stick to your guns and say, you know what? I'm staying at 3. I'm not going to get any extra picks.
Yes. Listen. I'm going to tell you why. Hold on. I'm almost done, J-Mo. I'm going to tell you why. They asked Ron Rivera from the Washington Redskins about trading because they said, hey, we noticed in your history you never trade. And he said, I don't trade because the offers that I get are not equal to the value of the player that I'm going to get there. If you're going to give me a trade, it needs to be such a way that I'm willing to give up that value on that player.
Right.
So for me,
but do you not? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I said if I'm not going to get the value that I want, like that's why people sell cars and they say 3,500 or best offer. They already know somebody's going to come try to lowball them down to the number that they want. But you have to still be able to get the value that you want for your picks.
Okay, so do you not believe that Simmons would be there at 5?
No,
is that why you're saying this?
No, I wanted to respond.
No. Simmons won't be there. Simmons won't be there, and Young won't be there.
Yeah, the New York Giants. This is why if I was to pick one of these, I'm going to pick Miami only because maybe I can still get Simmons, but the New York Giants want Simmons just as badly as we do. And if they don't take him,
they also need a tackle though.
Right.
They taking Simmons though. I really can see it, man. Because
right.
Do you have a source, J-Mo, that they want Simmons, or are you just speculating?
Every Giants fan and article I've seen has talked about Simmons.
Gotcha. No, J-Mo's he's on the right track here for sure.
Yeah,
But it boils down to this.
man.
It just boils down to this. Even let's say, for example, right? Like I'm going to show you what a good player can do to your mindset, right? Imagine if it was Lawrence Taylor, and we saw Lawrence Taylor do all the great things Lawrence Taylor did, but he doing it in college.
Mhm.
And let's say I absolutely need a quarterback. I will forego taking the quarterback right there to take that Lawrence Taylor type player and get me a quarterback later. So let's be honest. If Simmons is there at 4 and I'm the Giants and I'm trying to get back to my glory days of defense, yes, I'm taking Simmons because guess what? It's a ton of tackles and offensive linemen in this draft. A lot of them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
why would I mortgage that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna compare Saquon to Lawrence Taylor, but it's why Saquon got picked number 2 because they felt and you can't pass up
Generational.
on a guy. You can't pass up on a guy like that, even if you need a quarterback. And I mean, it ended up working out for the Giants because they got Daniel Jones. Well, I don't know if he's gonna be that good, but it seemed like they got Daniel Jones too, so it worked out. And now they have Saquon. So, but no, man, New York is not passing up on Isaiah Simmons for the old lineman. I can't see it. And I know that they're taking him, then I don't want to trade at all. Because to me, it's like if we don't get Isaiah Simmons, then we might as well just trade back and just try to build the team because it's Isaiah Simmons or Chase Young. I love Okudah, but I'm not about to mortgage everything for Okudah or Derek Brown, who I also love. It's those 2 players. It's Young or Simmons. If I'm not getting him,
Right.
I need
Or trade. Don't forget trade,
like, if
J-Mo.
I'm giving
Don't forget
up
trade.
on Isaiah Simmons or Chase Young, I need 2 firsts. I want 2 seconds, and I want a 4th, and I might want something else. I already told y'all how I feel. I want your house. I want your car. I want your life. I want everything you
Had your kids, had your wife. I want it all if you want this pick. I want it all. I'm
know
being
what, guys?
honest.
No team is going to give us that, which is why we probably going to stay at 3.
You know what? I like what you guys are saying. I came into this topic with the opposite mindset. I was thinking, listen, man, we got to get whatever we can to fill these holes. And you know, Simmons would probably still be there at 5. I would pick that Dolphins pick. But you know what, you guys?
I believe he could be. I believe he could be.
I believe he could be still, but you guys are right. I don't want to risk that for a 2nd round pick. You know what I mean? So honestly, you guys have turned me. So I'm with you, Andrew. Though this was your question, so I want to know what you have to say. I know that you've been, reading into these trade scenarios. So what trade do you want, if any?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to talk over everyone, and this is obviously a heated debate. I totally agree. Obviously, I want multiple firsts, and everything I'm seeing, a lot of mock drafts I've tried doing, nobody wants to give us multiple firsts. The only real trade scenarios that are giving us multiple firsts actually seem to be like the Raiders and Jags. I personally hate the Dolphins and Chargers trade option in this scenario because, yeah, you move back a couple spots, but you're not getting Simmons or Young. So what's the point of moving back a couple spots and then all the way out of the first for your 2nd pick? That to me makes no sense. So if I were to pick, I'm taking Jacksonville's trade offer. If these were the options. And the reason being is, like, let's say we move to 6 with the Chargers, right? You probably don't get Young. You probably don't get Simmons. You want to take Okudah with the 6th overall pick? I'm straight on all that, man. I'd rather go to 9, take potentially the 2nd overall tackle or the 1st, depending on how it plays out. And then with 20, I can go get the 2nd or 3rd ranked linebacker in the whole draft class. So instead of getting, let's say, Okudah at 6 or 5, which is most likely what people are speculating, and then going all the way to 2nd, you're getting a top 2 tackle in the draft, and you're getting a top 2 or top 3 linebacker in the draft instead of just the top cornerback. To me, I don't value cornerback that much. So why am I going to go drop back in the draft and go with the cornerback? That makes no sense to me. I'm going to go take the top tackle and the top linebacker with the 9 and 20 pick because Queen and Murray are both going in that area. And if you don't like that, go get Kinlaw. Go get one of those top defensive tackles if you want. Whatever it is. I just don't see the reason to only get a 1st round pick and a 2nd and a 4th when I can go get the best player available at dire need positions on our team.
And I can't kill him for that though.
Yeah. What you said about the cornerbacks?
You said what?
No. Listen, but I can't kill him for that though, J-Mo.
No, I ain't saying I can't kill him for that. I just want him to elaborate for everybody.
Oh, okay. Obviously, cornerback position is good. But when you look at teams that don't have a good front seven, the cornerback position does not matter. You know, and a perfect example of that is the Ravens. The Ravens had quite possibly the best secondary I've seen in a long time, and their defense was a little bit above average. I mean, they had Earl Thomas, they had Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, and someone else I'm drawing a blank on. I mean, that is a stacked secondary. So taking a cornerback with your first overall pick. Okay, I mean, they had Matt Judon. That's about it.
I mean, they were like
they
had pass rush too.
Yeah, they got
the
linebackers.
Yeah,
I watched them plenty. Yeah, I watched them plenty.
Yeah.
So that makes it even worse though, because their secondary was so talented and their defense still wasn't that elite. So why wouldn't you want to really establish your front seven?
I think they had a top 5 defense though.
Well, I'm still with Andrew. It is the front seven that really affects the secondary. You need to put pressure on the quarterback.
I am too. I just look at it like this. You got to be able to understand what Andrew is saying. He's saying, listen, he'll take that deal. He's saying that he'll take that deal, right? Like, oh, he'll take the Jaguar deal, and he'll pick up more picks to take some other spots and still be able to get a linebacker. I get what he's saying. I just look at it and I say, once you start letting people take money out your pocket, they're going to keep putting their hand in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be that person. The Lions kept taking money out of the pocket of the Cowboys until they got tired of looking stupid. I mean, look at the deal we got for Roy Williams. We got a first, a third, and I want to say a fifth or a sixth for Roy freaking Williams. We got the 3rd overall draft pick. You got to come better than a few steps down, a second and a fourth. It's got to come better than that.
Here's my thing, guys. So the majority of you said you're taking the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Who are you taking with the 6th overall pick that would be so dominant that it would outweigh having like Jedrick Wills and Patrick Queen?
Well, I don't know. Well, that's an unknown, but the next player I would look to is Derek Brown because I really don't care about combine stuff. I think he's going to be great. I really do.
Me too.
So I'm just going to take Derek Brown before I would take Okudah. But like I said, you don't know if he's going to be this, but forget the combine. I'm watching tape. Derek Brown's going to be a good player. And I don't think he's going to be a bad player. So
he's going to dominate.
Yeah, I would take him. Or lineman maybe.
I'm sorry, my apologies. I want to say this. I see Devin 99 got a question. He said, how could you be mad if we get Okudah or Brown though? We are going to answer all these questions. Trust me. And the quick answer I can give to you is this: is the person that you take, if you're trading down, keep in mind that no matter who you take, will always be compared against who you could have had because you had the 3rd overall pick. So to give you the understanding of it is when we look back at the draft with Eric Ebron, we're peed off because look who we could have had: Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Donald. And so now you have to compare all the people we could have had to what we got. And it was like, well, you might as well have just took them. And I know hindsight is 2020. I know it. You're not going to get me to ever dispute the idea of hindsight being 2020. But there was a lot of evidence about Aaron Donald and about Odell Beckham Jr. and a host of other people who had went against some of the. I remember I always tell people this: you can know when a player is great when they can have that signature game where they dominate. And Ndamukong Suh destroyed Texas. Aaron Donald destroyed Navy. I know you think it's Navy. I get it, but it's how bad he destroyed them. He destroyed a bunch of other teams that you like. These are signature games. Odell Beckham Jr. on LSU had signature games. And to me, if you take that cornerback and he don't end up being a Hall of Fame cornerback, he don't end up being a Darrell Reeves, a Charles Woodson, you're going to be upset because guess what? You don't have no other way to use him. He ain't returning kicks or punts. He can't play receiver. Jamal Agnew, they put him in on an occasional reverse. You can do that with Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, and let's see. Denzel Ward is the highest drafted cornerback of all time, and that just happened last year. Yeah. So you're talking about Okudah being like what, the 2nd highest drafted cornerback of all time, or like 3rd or 4th? You drafting that guy, he has to be a Hall of Famer, and if he ain't a Hall of Famer, I need you to make at least 5 Pro Bowls. And I'm not saying Pro Bowls means you're good, But you got to be so dominant that you get in that Pro Bowl nod. Like Darius Slay is wherever we rank him, but he was good enough to get those Pro Bowl nods regardless of his play. And Okudah got to come in here day one and be a stud. I'm sorry, like day one. I need you to be Marshawn Lattimore rookie year, and then the next year I need you to be Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
But I am with Devin 99 when he says he won't be mad with either one because I won't either. If they did take Okudah out,
it's not about being mad. It's about getting the best player. That's how.
Not right, but the reason I wouldn't be mad is a little bit different. See, I wouldn't be mad if they took Okudah is because I'm telling y'all, I have said this repeatedly. I want Matt Patricia to have all his guys, and we heard yesterday from Jeremy Rising of Pride of Detroit that he got all his guys. I want him to get all his guys and then some. Get him the cornerbacks he wants. Get him the kickers he wants. I want him to get everything that he wants. And if it do not work out, I want y'all to look back over the next 3 to 4 seasons and ask yourself, was it worth that third year?
Hey,
if it work out, come give me an earful. I'm gonna sit there and be quiet and take it like a G.
I just want to put it out there though that I'm not saying by any means Okudah is bad. I'm just saying when you weigh the Chargers and what you could get with the Chargers compared to that Jacksonville trade, I would do that to better our team.
Nobody is saying that. My thing is, I think Okudah is gonna be a stud, but I'm about year one. If we're drafting you that high, your first year. You have to be amazing if you're a cornerback.
Well, same with Simmons.
Out of this world. But
would you
different? Simmons
okay, I have a question for Luke.
I don't know if that's the same.
I have a quick question for Luke because we got to move on. But I have a just quick question. If you were to take, let's say one of those trade options are on the table, right? And you can get 2 middle of the round first round picks for your 3rd overall pick. Would you rather have Isaiah Simmons or would you rather have Gallimore and Antoine Winfield?
Isaiah Simmons.
Oh, okay. Dang. All right. I thought I had you for a second.
And I love both those players. You know I love Gallimore. You know I love Antoine Winfield. But the reason I would rather have Isaiah Simmons is because this. When the Seattle Seahawks took Aaron Curry, he ended up in a bust. All these players can end up in a bust, but nobody can kill you for taking what looked like it should be great. Every time you're going to find that. There's no guarantee with none of these players. But at least with Isaiah Simmons, if he suck at safety, I can try him out at slot corner. If he suck at slot corner, I can try him out at linebacker. If he suck at linebacker, then he sucks. But I got options. You know what I'm saying? I got options.
Where you gonna move him quarterback next? Like
I mean, what I'm saying, but if I go out and I take Gallimore and he suck at D tackle, the only other option I got is DN. And if he sucks there, my options is dead. If I get Antoine Winfield, if he suck at safety, I'm definitely not putting him at corner. That rarely happens. It's usually you suck at corner, you're going to safety. That's what happened with Glover Quinn. That's what happened with Quandre Diggs. I'm not saying that they suck per se, people. Let me just be clear. I'm not saying that they suck, but they was not as good at the corner position as they were as safeties. And you move them.
Gotcha.
So let me address the Andrew thing with the before we move on and stuff like that. I understand exactly what he's referring to because he says, well, you get 9 and 20, you can get essentially 2 first-round picks for the price of a first-round pick and a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick. Is that where you kind of was going with that whole with that premise?
I mean, the difference in pick is in first round would be from 6 to 9, and then 20 to like 36 or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You would get 2 first-round picks versus getting a first-round pick and a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick, and the talent drop off, if you will.
Yeah, but if you notice what I said, we need to start off with 4 picks, or I'm taking 2 first and a good player. Like right now, if you telling me that for some reason the Saints is feeling real antsy, and they want to give me, I'm trying to think of his name, Ramczyk.
Ryan Ramczyk.
If they was offering him their first and a first in next year's draft and a second in this year's draft, so you're giving me value now because now I got a player who I know come in and fix a problem. Plus, I still need to keep my first take whatever talent I get there, I compare my other seconds and do it. But see, if you take the other deal as it is, you're going to end up having to do more work because now you got to use more of those picks to try to package it together to get back into the first. It's too much work. Give me my 2 first. You got them. I'm asking for it. Like, what do you want? You want the Rolex that costs 50 or the Rolex that costs a Rolex price?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I get it. I just want to see if I was on the right track with what Andrew was saying. It was like, was that where he was going with?
No, listen. I think he was trying to see how committed I was to this pick. He was trying to see, like, let's see. He know I love Gallimore. I think Gallimore's the number 1 D tackle in this draft.
Oh, you were talking about me? I'm Dylan, not Andrew. Sorry, but anyway,
real. But I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to see how bad, like how I really want multiple picks or a player, or I don't want it at all. Don't give me no half deal. Sometimes you got the art of dealing is knowing when to walk away from the deal that you don't like.
Absolutely, no one want to fold them. I'm with you.
Listen, I just do want to shout out Detroit Drew. Thank you for complimenting that picture. I'm very proud of it. We are the Detroit Sports Avengers.
That's right. That's right.
All right, but moving on to the next topic.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Jam. My bad.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't liked the video already. And I was gonna say, man, we just really high on Simmons. Like, it's gonna take a lot for me to be like, I want these 3 players over Simmons. It's like they got to be really good.
Now that one trade,
I think they might take him anyway. To be honest with you, I think
I do too.
I have a gut feeling. I think they might take him.
Listen, I just look at it like this. Do you remember the other Sports Illustrated scenario where we end up moving out to the Raiders pick? That I was like, it don't matter because we end up getting 9 and 12, and then we got like a second plus like a late 4. I was like, no, I'll take that deal because at that point, I'm still in the top 10. Which is what I want to stay at this point. I still get the pick not too far after that. And then I got 2 seconds that if I wanted to pair it, I could. But guess what? I ended up walking away with 3 first-round picks in 2 seconds. That I can't walk. I can leave Simmons on the table for that. I can't leave Simmons on the table before a first, a second, and a fourth. Or a first, a second, or 2 firsts, and then a fourth next year.
Right. I get it. It makes sense. I'm with it.
Yeah, but regardless, we're sitting pretty right now because we're lucky to have all these options. So
real, I gotta do this. Do you see that? Now that's a hot take right there. Do you see that one?
Which one?
But from Shade, Quinn will find a way to get the Giants' 4th pick without trading a 3rd. Oh, tell me, man. Listen, first of all, let me tell you something. Now I've already said this thing don't work out. We burning down the house and starting over. But let's say he do that. Shay, how he do that would be beyond me. But
I'd be scared if he did that because they're in a win now mode. So like, honestly, the only way they could do that if he was like, I'll trade you our next 3 first-round picks. You know what I mean?
Right.
For the 4th.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Dylan. I'm not scared. I've been preaching this for a while. I'm tired of this building bullshit. Can we just have 1 year where we decide to just go all in? And people say no, but my thing is we've never done it before. Ever in our history have we just went all in 1 year. Why don't we just do that and see what happens? If it don't work, we can go back to building like we've been doing for the next 40 years and keep losing. But because you're gonna end up doing what the Rams do and have to now cut the guy that you give a big contract to.
Exactly what I was about to.
I feel like if the Rams had a better quarterback, they chipped up.
But they gave up a lot and it didn't work. They sold out. They had to leave. They had all of it.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I get that the goal of each season is to win the Super Bowl, but they fucking made it to the Super Bowl. If the Lions can make it to the Super Bowl, I'll be the happiest man on the planet.
We got to change our standard. We got to change it.
I think, but they're sellers though. But they're sellers. That's the point.
They're sellers
now.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the point of all that?
They had a chance to win the Super Bowl.
And the songs say all the way up. It don't say somewhat to the top. Like that's like going to Cedar Point to get on the demon drop only for it to get to the top and roll you backwards.
Okay,
For
but they
what?
had a
Yeah,
chance
we
to
we
win
gonna
the
get.
Super Bowl. They were
Yeah,
there.
I'm with you.
No,
We
they
gonna get back
wasn't.
to the next
They wasn't
topic.
even in that game. They wasn't even in that game.
Well,
They got
what
held
about
to
the
3
40?
points.
Hey, man.
They got held to
Hey,
3 points. What are we talking
What about the
about?
49ers, though? The
That's
49ers
because
built their whole
there's a
team.
girl-
They got
Gurley's
held
knees,
to
man. They
3
didn't know.
points. They wasn't even in that game. They was like the number 2 scoring offense all season. You got held to 3 points. What was the point of all that?
And to be fair, the Patriots
Hey,
didn't play
man,
much
but look,
better,
wait,
man.
hold on. Todd Gurley was hurt, and Jared Goff is trash.
Listen, I hear you, but they had Sue and Donald. Patrick, they had Sue and
I
Donald,
mean, they only
Marcus
gave up
Peters
10
to lead. I'm just saying,
Oh
bro.
my god! All right, it's
If you
getting
give
hot,
up 10
guys. It's getting
points-
hot. I have a
If
question.
you give
I have
us
a
10
question
points,
for
you can
Luke.
win the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm listening.
If we're gonna win, then it's worth it to me. Then if it's not, then I'm not doing it.
Right.
Okay. So, all right.
Go to
So,
the next question, man.
all right. Let's just go on to the next question.
No, wait, you got a question from me. I want to hear the question. Just curiosity.
Well,
What's the question?
I don't even like to say it because I agree with you guys that it is a moral victory just to make it to the Super Bowl. But I don't care, bro. I want to. We had in my whole lifetime.
Oh
we
my
have
God.
not won a playoff game. If you're telling me we will suck for the next 5 years, but we'll make it to the Super Bowl and lose, I'll take that. Because you know why? We're gonna suck for the next 5 years anyway. Why can't we get a Super Bowl run?
I hear
hold
you.
on. Luke, let me get you. Let me jump in on this one because you one of the king of analogies on here. So let me back you up with this one. All right. Look,
All right.
it's like this. So that everything with them going all in, it's kind of like it's this fine ass girl that you've been wanting to take out for a date or a dude, whatever, for the longest time. You spend all this money, you take her home and she don't let you hit. What was the point of all that?
I'll tell you what the point is.
That's a moral victory to you.
Yo,
I
I'll
mean,
tell you what the
Oh
point is.
man, I just took her home. I didn't even get none.
I'll tell you what the point is. The
So
Lions
that's
are
okay
that
with
guy.
you.
The Lions are that guy that never gets a date in the first place. Okay, so the fact that they got
Hey,
a date,
I ain't mad at it.
Hey,
Listen, really quick,
fair,
hold on,
too.
really quick, fellas. Really quick, fellas. I gotta address this. This is what I was laughing at. Funky Nut says, laughing a lot. The demon drop been gone for 10 years. I told you I'm old, bruh. I didn't listen. That's the last roller coaster.
oh my god!
Listen, that was the last roller coaster I got on, bro. That thing made me so sick. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with roller coasters. It's a wrap. That thing had me through. So if it's been gone for 10 years, good riddance. Lord Jesus, that thing was horrible. So listen, I told you I'm old, man.
I just feel like it's different ways of going all in because we saw Golden State go all in and had to pay the luxury tax and they won some chips. So
right.
it's different ways of doing things.
But
You don't
they
have to.
built
But
the
NBA,
foundation.
NBA,
But the
NFL different.
foundation.
Okay,
But you don't have to. You don't have. Hey, we got a foundation too. We just don't. We just need better players and better coaching.
But they
Hey,
built
the
the
Rams-
without KD.
the
so-
Rams-
Okay, but
still-
if the Rams did win, we would be not talking about this. It would be, oh yeah, why aren't we all going all in? Like they made it to the Super Bowl. They're 1 game away.
49ers built their team and they still lost. Why? Because of the quarterback. Quarterbacks win Super Bowls unless you the 2000 Ravens. Quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Man.
Hey, the Rams still finished 9-7 this past year, which is 3 times the amount of wins we had. So I mean, if you can buy wins,
Yeah,
bro, I'm gonna buy those
exactly.
wins.
But listen. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit because I want people to hear why this guest is on. And I think if y'all wondering why, it's not that he just hit us up to be on. He has a very particular take that should be addressed.
Yes, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
He actually is a Matt Patricia believer, supporter, enthusiast. I don't know.
I support
he
Patricia
is-
too.
He is not anti-Patricia. Now, real, I'm gonna give you the chance to take it away. Let's set him up. Let's set him up. What I'm saying is, I want him to say why he's okay with Patricia getting this 3rd year and why he's okay with Patricia. I want the people to hear it. This is why he's here. I want y'all to be clear. You would never ever see the DSA shy away from people who want to be different. If you want to be different, come on here, share your view, and do it. Just make sure you know your sport. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So all right, so let me just tee this up for you. So I just want to know, what effect, positive or negative, has Matt Patricia had on this football team so far after his couple years here so far?
I would say so I was listening last week when I think it was last week or maybe or something like that when y'all talking about like the how he had them practicing outside in the snow and building the toughness mentality of the team and how it's all about team. It's not about players. That's what it's more about to me. And not only the fact he can develop players. Like if you go back to just the tenure before, like who has Caldwell ever developed in his tenure? Like come away with some players that he developed while he was there.
So
Okay.
is your
away.
argument predicated off of Patricia versus Caldwell, or are you saying
I'm just giving you context because this man, he's losing right now, and losing is unacceptable, right? But there's context behind everything.
Who has he developed?
Who has he developed?
Yeah, you asking who Caldwell developed. We know Caldwell ain't here no more, and we know Caldwell won more than 9 games. Who has he developed?
Okay, well that 9 games is off the back of Matthew Stafford. Let's just get that clear.
Facts?
Let's just get that clear.
Regardless of who the 9 games is off of, Matthew Stafford was still with Patricia and he didn't get 9 games. So we can move forward. Who did he develop?
Okay, so let's see. We got Tracy Walker, that's one. So we saw a little bit of Tavai's development. They got Terrell Crosby playing some snaps. They got we see Aurarie's development coming towards late this season. Let me see. I don't know. Was Jamal Agnew, was he a first team All Pro under Caldwell? Was he under Patricia? I can't necessarily remember. I think it was the same year. Okay, so so that's a wash. Okay, and then we talk about like the other stuff, like in terms of like the system that they got Matthew Stafford playing in, like Bevel versus like Jim Bob Cooter. Stafford's on he was on a MVP type season. He had 19-5 before he got hurt. He's probably going to throw like for almost 40 touchdowns, almost 5,000 yards. So I'm looking at the tea leaves. So. And then, like I said, and then another thing, I think y'all addressed this earlier with the, like where when Nino had left and bringing in Will Harris and stuff like that. The games that Nino, Nino wasn't the difference. I love him, but he wasn't the difference between us like winning and losing. Like the game, the Kansas City game. The reason why we lost that game is because like the players got out of their rush lane. They get out of their rush lane. We beat the Super Bowl champions. That's what happens. Like
Christian Jones.
Hold on, wait.
So he developed players better, and he's better at like implementing a game plan. You know what I'm saying? That's his football philosophy.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Okay, Damon, let me talk to you for a minute, Damon.
Go ahead.
All right, I love everything that you said, right? Because this is good. This is good for the sport. This is good for the people. We want to hear this. Mm-hmm. Can we get back to who he developed? I mean, you don't told me about who he dated, what he ate on Saturday. You don't told me all this stuff.
I said Tracy Walker. Walker.
Okay, so you believe he developed Tracy Walker?
But
Luke,
they drafted him, correct?
Why are you cornering him though? It doesn't. That's not his whole argument. Like it doesn't matter necessarily everybody that Patricia has developed.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he's saying when he started out, he said that Caldwell didn't develop nobody. But I'm like, but who did Patricia develop?
I said he can develop and he can implement a better game plan. That's what a coach is supposed to do. Develop your players and then implement a game plan to beat other teams. That's what he's supposed to do. That's literally what a coach is supposed to do. Develop your players and implement the game plan to beat other teams.
But we tied with the Cardinals and we lost. Okay. We lost to the Redskins, who picking ahead of us, and may take the player we want. Mm-hmm. Like, what game plan was implemented there?
Though.
Well, why don't we switch this up? So you keep saying context is behind the reason why we're losing, and the reason why a lot of fans are, have gripes with Matt Patricia, including Luke, including JMO, including a lot of the DSA members. So why don't you talk about some of that context and why you believe that they're wrong and that the context matters a lot?
So I respect everybody's opinion. I'm an optimist, right? Anybody who know me, you see me on Twitter. Like I believe in like the tea leaves, finding the the light at the end of the tunnel. And before we even went live, I was telling y'all some of the things like how the injuries and stuff like that played a role. When you lose Matthew Stafford, who's I don't know where you want to rank him, to me, he's like in that top 6 to 7 conversation. That's where he's at for me, especially at the year that he's had last year.
No,
Right.
most definitely.
You're right.
Agree with that.
So you lose him for 8 games. You got Jeff Driscoll and David Blau. You got them competing with some of the other teams and stuff like that. There, because I think the stat was they had a lead in 14 out of 16 games. 8 of those without Matthew Stafford. And then a bunch of those games, they didn't have Deshaun Hand. We talked about earlier how the defensive line was like not being healthy. That was a problem. They didn't have Mike Daniels. They didn't have Austin Bryant. Okay, Trey Flowers was coming into the season with an injury. Snacks, he held out. Y'all was just talking about that the other day. So right behind the 8, they're already behind the 8 ball. Just off of like a conditioning standpoint and continuity of playing together. They're already behind the 8 ball. But besides, like in spite of that, they still in 14 out of 16 games with your second and third string quarterbacks. Okay, your third and fourth string defensive linemen. Bo, how many carries did Bo get? Bo got a Kerryon Johnson was out. He missed a chunk of the season and stuff like that. You look at the tea leaves, like everybody wants to say like Caldwell, yeah, he won 9 games, but Matthew Stafford had to pull rabbits out of his hat every single game that they won. So how and you know what I'm saying? Like that's the context. Like if imagine had Caldwell lost Matthew Stafford for 8 games, each one of those 9 and 7 seasons. What you think his record is?
Absolutely.
You do the math for me. You do the math for me.
No, let me respond to that. This is my thing. For one, I've already said on this panel, I believe sky's the limit next year only because I've seen Matthew Stafford carry trash coaches before. I'm not saying Caldwell is trash. He's average to me, but I've seen him carry teams. But this is my issue. And you said what Caldwell done, he wouldn't have lost every single game afterward. He would have won at least a couple games. And to me,
I don't believe that.
That's the problem. I don't believe lose to the Redskins. You don't lose to the Bears twice. You don't lose to all of these bad teams. These games were winnable, and you got to win a couple of these games if you're a real coach. Like, same team, same injury, same everything. Take Patricia out, put Mike Tomlin in. We at least win 2-3 more games because he's a better coach. And that was my problem with Patricia. I know about the injuries. I'm the biggest Stafford fan ever, so I know we're not going to win without him. But you got to win a couple games. You can't lose every single game.
I don't care about losing.
These games were 1 point. I know you draft picks. These games were 1 point games. You lose them by 1 point. Like you was beating Green Bay the whole game, and they won by 1 point. We beat the Bears. We lost to the Bears twice by 1 point. We lost to Washington by 1 point. You can't win any of those swing games if you're a good coach. You got to be able to win at least one of those games.
Let me just throw something in there as well. I think one of the biggest problems that most fans that don't like Patricia have is that it was the defense that was crippling us as a team. It wasn't the offense. Even when Stafford was out, we were putting up over 20 points a game, and we were running the ball more effectively than in the first half of the season. It wasn't even the offense. That's what the big problem that I think a lot of fans have. So I want you to address that. What do you think? Do you think it's just the injuries and Pascaloni, and you think that's all going to be fixed now that Patricia has his guys? That's the next thing I want to transition to. Now that Patricia has his guys, he revamped the entire defense. Do you think that now is the time that we are going to see the success that we've been waiting for?
I mean, hopefully so. I believe, we can, if was a fifth, we all be drunk, right? I don't drink, but you know how the saying goes. But you know what I'm saying? I'm saying,
Damone, let's just assume everything goes well. Stafford's healthy.
If they're healthy, I believe they're a 10-win team. I believe they're a 10-win team. That's just me. I believe they're a 10-win team. Because they shown the propensity to compete with anybody. That's what I'm getting at. Like they can compete with anybody despite who's out there. That's the point. And when you got your third and fourth string players like competing with the starters, but they're losing games, you can't be mad at that. It's just another team starters is better than your starters. That's just what it is. These guys don't make all pros and Pro Bowls for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't make all pros and Pro Bowls for nothing. They're just better than you. And your guys ain't out there. You can't. It's kind of like the Cleveland, versus Golden State where LeBron had when the second best player on this team was Matthew Dellavedova in 2015. He going against a loaded Golden State team. Do you expect him to win? No, but they competitive because they got that guy. And that's how I'm looking at it. They're competitive. So if they're healthy, I think they're a 10-win team because they can compete with anybody despite who's out there. And we saw that. That's where I'm taking the tea leaves from. All right, these guys was out, this guy was out, but they still held their heads high and they still played for the coach. That's where I'm looking at it from.
I got a follow up for that. You say 10 wins. I'm with you on that. I think, like I told you, I think sky's the limit if we healthy. I just believe in Stafford that much. But is 10 wins really enough? Like, that's not going to win the division. So you find with 10 wins making the playoffs and getting bounced out in a win now year.
Well,
you never know what happens when you make the playoffs.
We gotta win it. Man, we gonna get my.
Hold on. To go 6-3 and then 10, that's a huge improvement. So
wait.
Okay.
Wait.
6-3 to 10.
Wait.
Hold on.
Are we really gonna do that though? You listen. That's like, okay, listen. The Lions went 0-16 at some point. Winning one game is a big improvement. I mean, we really gonna play this game? Let's be honest.
Hold on.
What is the one thing that separates a team from the other team? If everything is equal on every team, let's say the Lions was going to get the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had all the same issues and everything. What separates them? It has to be the coach.
It's execution. It's execution on the field. That's what separates it.
Okay. Stay with me. Just stay with me. When you are in 14 of 16 games, 14 of 16 games in the fourth quarter and you lose it, you're saying that's all on the players.
It's execution. I can give you the answers to the test. If you still fail, whose fault is that? Mine or yours?
So wait. So again, I'm asking again. They were in 14 of 16 games. You're saying they lost those games because of the players.
I mean, they got themselves in a position to win. How can they put themselves in position to lose? Don't it work both ways?
Listen, you're not answering the question.
I just told you.
Listen, let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase the question. I'm gonna give you a different one. I'll give you a different question. What do you blame Matt Patricia for?
If anything, I blame him for keeping like JBC too long, keeping what was his name, the offensive line coach Ron Prince too long, and not necessarily bringing his guys in. But he was hired after the Super Bowl, so he didn't have a whole lot of time to put his staff together.
Okay, all right. I just want to know where you stand.
And then the whole turnout with Slay, I don't like how that happened. I understand he might have been trying to motivate him, telling him he ain't as good as these guys, and he don't like them exchanging jerseys and stuff like that. He rubbed Slay the wrong way, and Slay thinks he's a good coach, but Slay couldn't respect him as a man. I don't think he handled that necessarily the right way. But as you can see, he was trying to motivate him. So I do put that on Patricia. When you lose, ultimately, it does fall on your coach. I'm not saying he's without fault here, but I'm saying if you look at the tea leaves, you got to give him credit for that. Considering what he's had to work with, I'm going to give him credit for that.
Okay. Listen, I'm not shooting. Listen, y'all don't understand this because I'm tired of this debate. I'm not shooting down anything a person say from here forth about Matt Patricia. I'll just wait till the season to play out and when it ends. Damone, you better not change your name. All right, I don't want no name changes. I ain't changing mine if you're right. I'm telling you now. I hope that you are right. I hope I am too. I hope that you are right. But if you not, I need you to come back on this show with us so we can talk about who fought it is then.
Oh yeah, I can, and trust me, I can take that. And it is what it is. I've always said if him and Quinn don't get it done after 4 years together, then they both can go. That's where I'm at.
So what would you say this year if we don't have, obviously if Stafford stays healthy, do you think that if we do not make the playoffs, we should give them one more year?
Oof.
Yeah, he gonna say yeah. He got to. You got to say yes.
Why?
I'm like I said, it's 4 and go for me. So you gotta I don't know. You can if your first 3 years you don't do nothing, then your fourth year you win a Super Bowl, then I don't know. Or you get a playoff win, then it's really just gonna be tough. I just gotta really see where they at. Like if they just take a big drop off, like they get
Big drop off. What they gonna do? Go 0-16 again? I mean, how big
No,
a drop
I
off?
think. Hold on, I'm not talking about in the record. I'm not talking about in the record. I'm not talking about on the record because you are what your record says you are. Like I said, I don't run from that. I'm not disputing that, right? That's his record. But like I said, I try to give the context and stuff behind that. But I'm saying like if we go out there and the product on the field looks even worse, like they don't even look competitive, right? Like if they go out there and it's like the Monday night opener a couple years ago, where it's like they get blew out by a team they had no business losing to. You know what I'm saying? If it's stuff like that, then I'm like, I can't necessarily like get with that because then when it comes to execution, there was a drop off. Because last year, like I said, with the backups in a rotation and stuff like that, they were at least competitive and they had leads. If they don't even have that, then now you're really regressive.
Yeah,
so now you're taking away the tea leaves. Now you're taking away the tea leaves.
Right,
so now I don't even got nothing to stand on.
I'm gonna say what they really want to say. What's the win total for you to accept Matt Patricia being back this year? How many wins he has to get?
To me, I think he has no reason to not get 10. He has to get 10. You got to get 10 wins because this team healthy is a 10-win team.
If we go 7-9?
If he goes 7-9, then it's going to be hard for any, like I said, even me to make a case for him to come back. Like I said, he only get 4 years out of me. After your 4 years, you got to go, bucko. So,
all right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm definitely more with you than I'm with Luke, to be honest with you. Seriously, I've been saying it from the beginning. Like, you could call those excuses if you want, but I'm 100% with you. Those are reasons why our team was bad. And whether you place them on the coach or not, the fact is those reasons shouldn't be there this year. So he has no excuse to not win 9-10 games or more and make the playoffs and win a playoff game. If he doesn't do that, I'm with you, man. It's gonna be hard to debate. So to debate him staying. So
I ain't mad at you. I swear I ain't mad at you. And I'm not mad at either one of y'all. My goal is this. I want to see it. Like y'all, I'm serious. I want to see it. And to me, if those same things occur this year, are we still talking about, well, he needs another year? Then it occur again. He needs another year. How far down the rabbit hole do we got to keep going for me? And for me, I've seen enough in 3 seasons. I mean, when I sit up here and look at what's going on over there in Green Bay, and for somebody to scream out, they got Aaron Rodgers. Okay, stop it. They figured it out. Before somebody talk about all the other stuff, a lot of teams went through hardships. Yeah, they went through hardships. And I just hope that you guys are right, because if this doesn't happen and we end up keeping Patricia for another year or two, I'm just gonna sit back and be like, okay, cool. I want all them same fans to keep that same energy, because it's the same thing the Bengals did. They just kept keeping Lewis, and it's like, yo,
winning games though.
But they made the playoffs like every single for like 10 straight seasons or something crazy like that. It was some record like 10 straight seasons.
No. What
please stop talking over each other, everybody.
I keep telling you to stop disrespecting Martha Ford. If they ain't winning no games, she gonna fire their asses. I'm trying to tell you, they ain't gonna last another year.
But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this idea of continuity. Sometimes continuity don't get you results anyway. I mean, and the reason I brought up Marvin Lewis is because I'm saying, yeah, they had continuity. They were winning games and playoffs and getting to the playoffs and stuff. They weren't doing nothing in the playoffs. And the same to Dallas Cowboys. They had like Jason Garrett for like 8 years. And he was a 500 coach realistically, and they didn't do nothing. I mean, consistency don't do much of nothing. I mean, it's cool. I get it.
It depends on the team, though. Look at the Eagles. It depends on the team.
Yeah, but Peterson been there how long? 4 seasons now.
Yeah, but his first 2 seasons, he went 6-10, and then the next season they didn't make the playoffs, but the record was okay. But like, it took time for them to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but all the people you named still had a better 2 years than our guy.
But they didn't have a Matt Stafford get hurt.
Been hurt both last 2 years.
Yes, he did. He didn't have Carson Wentz for a lot of those seasons. That was the problem. Everybody was saying.
Well, no, the Super Bowl year he had Carson Wentz, and the year before he had Carson Wentz too.
No, Carson Wentz got hurt even in the Super Bowl year. They had brought in Nick Foles to do the things for him.
That was after they was already like what 12-0.
No,
They won.
Yeah,
So what happened was
Carson Wentz was
he
the number
got
one
injured
MVP
about like
candidate.
week 14 or 15
Yeah,
and stuff
they were
like that.
like
He got
13. Yeah,
they already had the number one
They
seed
weren't no
pretty much like
14 and
sewed
0.
up.
no, I said
No,
12.
no.
I didn't say
Yeah,
14.
not that.
Oh,
All right, guys,
Go ahead.
listen. We've been on for an hour 34 minutes. It's time right now to drop your questions in the chat. We've gone too long on this on this topic and the topic beforehand, but I do want to throw one topic out here right now because it is infuriating me and I can't withhold my anger anymore. So I'm going to rant right now, okay?
Go ahead.
Because the NFL is talking about discontinuing the pass interference challenge. And this rakes my nerves. I do not understand this decision because this past season, or was it the season before, they finally allowed us to challenge pass interference calls because of the crap call against the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Championship, okay, which stopped them from going to the Super Bowl. Everyone knows that was a bad call. Shouldn't have been made. The refs were put on blast, as they should have been. And as Lions fans, we all know how bad the refs can be. So I don't understand how you can now turn around and say, oh, well, it didn't really work. It only didn't work. The challenges of the pass interference calls only didn't work because they purposely were not overturning any calls, calls at all. Even if you saw that the call was wrong, they'd make up some excuse saying, oh, there's no beyond reasonable doubt. What is this, a lawyer case? Are we putting somebody to death on the court right now? Why? I don't understand why there needs to be absolute proof, 20 different camera angles to get the call right. If I could see it sitting at home on the living room, how can you not see it? And how are you screwing over the Lions and other teams time and time again? And then when they challenge the call, you don't overturn it. And then on top of that, after the season's over, you say, oh, well, we're just going to remove that now. No more challenging the call because clearly none of them were overturned. They weren't overturned because you chose not to overturn them. I don't understand this at all. We should be able to challenge every single call that they make. People complain and say, oh, that would lengthen the game. Explain to me how that would lengthen the game. You still have two challenges. Whether I challenge the spotting of a football on a first down or I challenge your BS referee call, it doesn't matter. I have two and that's it. So what is the point? I don't understand not being able to challenge the call. And I'll tell you what it is right now. It's because they want the uncertainty. It's just the same exact reason why umpires are still around in baseball. When we could tell exactly precisely with computers whether if it was a strike or not. But they're still going to get the call wrong on purpose. Why? Are the games being rigged? I'm questioning the integrity of the game I love, football, because they're choosing to make rules that make the game less accurate, less competitive, so that they could get the results that they want, to drive the narratives they want. All right, I just ranted. That's exactly all I had to say.
I ever heard from you, man.
I mean, it's funny you say that because last year there was this controversial thing where they was like, why didn't Matt Patricia throw the flag? And I made this whole video defending him, like telling people like he didn't throw it because he understood the most fundamental thing, which was it was a placebo. Just something to get the fans to stop talking about the officials blowing that call in that game. And I show example upon.
Was it on that Kenny Galladay catch, the first one in the Chiefs game?
Oh my God! Don't even. Oh my God!
Listen!
Oh my God! Don't even.
Listen!
Oh, that make me so mad.
I think that was the one, Luke.
I literally show a game against the Redskins where the cornerback not only tackled him, they called pass interference on the receiver. I was like, no, hold up, wait, what? What? So it's I get Real's point about we have ways to get it right, but when getting it right causes money, I don't care if it's right. I want that human error in there because it's good for money. It's good for business. And so you shouldn't expect
what's good for money there.
Because if, let's say for example, I'll give you a perfect example. The year New England Patriots just ran through everybody and got to the Super Bowl. There's a small percentage of bets that went that the Giants is going to upset them. And then all the money was on New England. And then the Giants got upset. And so all this money was made for the NFL because guess what? Everybody betted that New England was going to complete the perfect season. and everything like that, and it didn't happen. So in a lot of these games, how do they get you in bet? They do it by point spreads. If I can call something or have something be called but not overturn it because it's going to affect this point spread, guess what? I make money. Not only did I get people to come in the stadium still, they still bought drinks, they still bought food, they still bought jerseys and other type of team paraphernalia. And guess what? The game didn't end the way they wanted to. Now they ticked off and they want to come back to make sure that the game go the way that it should. That makes money. Drama makes money. It's the reason why some of the top shows on TV evolves around drama. That's what they want.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. I know what he's talking about.
Well, so what DMAP Zoom is saying right now is gambling does not mess with the bottom line of the NFL, and he's right. He's right. That's what we're supposed to believe, right? Because you make your bet with a casino, or a bookie, and they get the profit. But what Luke is suggesting is that does affect the NFL's bottom line, and that they're involved in this, and that this is a
not that they're involved, not that it's a conspiracy. But would you? So okay, I'll give you a perfect example. If you bet on a horse race, you have to watch the horse race, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if by allowing betting to happen, that means that people have to watch, whether they pay to come see it or watch it on TV. And you already know that there are a number of sponsors that the NFL has that pay out dividends that sponsor them, like Doritos and sometimes Budweiser and Nike or Reebok or whoever it is. And when people do those things, they gather with their buddies and buy Budweiser and Doritos. So they're finding different ways of bringing revenues. Drama creates that. So,
okay. So your whole thing is the drama of it. It's not the fact that they're working with casinos or anything like that.
No, I'm saying.
Well, then to me that doesn't matter because the NFL will make its own drama. There's going to be rivals. There's going to be whatever. If I place a bet and I win, I'm still tuning into the game. If I lose, I'm still tuning into the game. I don't understand. I get that you're saying drama puts more of the word out there, right? And more people are talking about it on social media. More people are talking about it here and there. But you're ruining the integrity of the game when you have these bad calls. I don't understand. Why can't we just have a purely competitive product? Why do we have to have a quote unquote scripted product by having the refs be biased, whether it be unconsciously or conscious? It's just ridiculous. We have the capabilities to have a perfectly competitive. I mean, not perfect. It will never be perfect, right? But we have ways to remove some of the errors that we're experiencing in the game right now, and we're choosing not to do it. It's a disgrace.
But the NFL don't want to have the officials decide the outcome of the games. That's their motto. I don't want the officials to decide the outcome of the game, even though we know it's exactly just that.
I was about to say that's what happens.
That's exactly what they do, right? So that's what I'm saying. Is you have to listen. Everything is storylines. Everything is storylines. You just look at the storylines and it'll tell you what's going on. I promise you. Pay attention to it. Watch how. So I'm telling you, I have noticed this so many times, and it's ridiculous. If you follow the storyline, you can almost predict how it's going to go. I won a lot of money this year following the storyline. Everybody had Kansas City losing, and I was like, okay. I'm taking Kansas City. And they like, you crazy.
That's not hard though.
No, listen, but if you go back to the point spreads and all that stuff, there are a lot of people who had the 49ers winning. They kept talking about how good the defense was and everything like that, and they like, they're gonna run it down their throat. And I was like, I'm telling you, the storyline suggests that it's a better storyline for Mahomes to win it because they know that the greats is gonna do it. And it happens in every sport. It happens in the NBA. In NHL, all of them. NBA, when all the greats were leaving, when Magic was leaving, Bird was leaving, and they was ushering in Jordan, and then when Jordan started getting old, they ushered in Kobe, and then when Kobe started getting old, they ushered in LeBron. When LeBron started getting old, they're gonna usher in somebody else. Already self-titling people.
Did it, bro. Zion.
Oh yeah, Zion, or Anthony Davis, one of the two, or Giannis. But I'm just saying, it's just the way they do it, and they don't care. They don't care about getting it right. They want to leave that error there because it's good for business. It really is. I mean, the immaculate catch. The camera ain't even that angle. The reception. The camera. It's like all these different like moments where you like this is controversy as hell. But guess what? The NFL ratings keep going up.
Yeah,
with all these flaws.
It's good for business. Uncertainty is good for business.
It just is.
I mean, they gotta overturn it and change the calls though. They should still keep. They shouldn't change the flag rule after they just implement it though, and that's what I think Dylan was talking about. Like that's a bunch of BS.
It was a placebo thing though. They just did it to make everybody happy.
But that's bullshit.
If it was a placebo thing.
Like I get what you guys are saying, but we can't get over the fact that that's bullshit. Like I'm
with you. I'm with you. Like trust me, I agree. Like I think it was some BS too, but that's how they played it.
Like, what's the point of us even talking about Patricia? What's the point of us even talking about anything, right? If it's all about this drama and what storylines they're going to pick, if they're not going to talk about the Lions, if they're not going to pick the Lions, what's the point of us even talking about it then? If you guys really believe that they're doing all
well, hold on, really.
What?
No, I'm gonna say hold on really quick because we got a question and I think it's a good one. Ramon the New Age says, when we pick Tua at 3, will you destroy your TV? No. No, I would not.
No.
Listen, I want this.
Where is that?
I want this coach to get everything he wants. Okay.
I'll destroy my TV and I'll post it. I swear.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
All I'm gonna do is buy a number 9 Patriots jersey because that's where he gonna be.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be laughing.
How much your TV costs? That's what I want to know. If you just gonna destroy it.
It doesn't matter. I'm getting a new one after that. That's the problem.
All right.
Look,
all right.
Listen, I'm not. It ain't no pick that they can make. It ain't no pick that they can make that I'm gonna be upset about.
There is for me.
Luke, you need to chill with that, bro.
Yeah, chill.
There's some for me, and I'm a Bob Quinn supporter. I'm a Bob Quinn supporter. I'm not. If he take a quarterback at 3, that ain't gonna ride with me. No. And I'm one of the bigger Bob supporters too. And that ain't gonna ride with me. I'm about to shut this down
for you real quick, okay? Tua is probably the most overrated quarterback coming into the draft I've seen in a while. It's complete bullshit. You have 2 of the top. Hold up.
I don't know about that.
Hold up. You have 2 of the top wide receivers in the entire draft class that you threw the ball to.
That's
bro,
not
like
his fault.
Johnny Manziel had Mike Evans. People were like, "Oh my God, Johnny Manziel is freaking amazing." Bro, he sucked ass. Tua is way too overhyped. I get he's had a super high. He's a lefty, bro. Like I am so straight on that. And if we take Tua at 3, I'm gonna flip my shit.
Andrew, look, I disagree with you, and I'm gonna tell you why. And this doesn't necessarily prove my point, but yesterday, no, I'm saying it because this is opinionated, so it's not like fact. But yesterday, I don't know why, but I decided to watch Judy, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs highlights. While I'm watching these highlights, I'm sitting up there like, what a freaking throw! Like some of these throws are to a highlight with this Jerry Judy and Henry Ruggs highlight. That I'm telling you. That man can throw the football. His injuries is a concern, but he can throw his arms. He can throw that football.
He's definitely had some great throws, but when I watch his tape, there's also a lot of times that Henry Ruggs is 10, 15 yards from any defender. Same thing with Judy. Or they break a freaking tackle for 80-yard touchdowns. Like, I am so straight, man. He is so overhyped. Man,
everybody has weapons. Matthew Stafford had A.J. Green in a running game. But everybody has weapons in college. Joe Burrow had like all the weapons in the world, but Tua special. Like it's his injuries that make him murky. But if he was healthy, he going number 1 overall, and it probably be consensus.
Yeah, let me address that. All right, so let me address the whole Tua thing real quick. I'm more along the lines with what J-Mo was saying. Like you can't count that, you know what I'm saying, against like a quarterback for having these weapons because in the NFL, like. We make the argument that like some of that injuries played a role in them not having their weapons, so maybe they might have dropped off so you can't really hold that against them in college because that's not their fault. Like the system that they play in or whatever, that's not his fault. That being said, I watched plenty enough tape on him and stuff like that. I remember when he did the Elite 8. And I remember thinking, and he won that, and I was like, this kid is talented. I remember there was a throw when he came in at halftime and he won the national championship for Jalen Hurts like a couple years ago. And the throw to win the game when I think they was playing like cover 2 or 3, and he looked the safety off and he threw it up the seam. I'm like, that's an NFL quarterback throw. Like, you don't come and do that at halftime. He came in at halftime. He looking the safety off. He made a throw to win the game. Like that's he. You know what I'm saying? Like, just not anybody making that throw. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
So
I'm not mad at either of y'all. I just think whatever this coach need, get it to him.
No,
I don't care what it is.
Man, be careful what you wish for, because I feel like if Patricia get Isaiah
Oh
Simmons,
no.
That's gonna be what turn this team around. Because I mean, we got our own opinions about Patricia, but I think if you give him Isaiah Simmons, he gonna do something special, and that's just my opinion.
Listen. I'm J-Mo, I'm with you. Damone, I'm with you. Andrew, I'm with you. Real, I'm with you. I'm with every single one of you. I don't care who y'all want, who y'all pick. Whatever he want, get it to him. You understand what I'm saying?
So ain't no
I don't want
like
I can't ask nobody to make me a custom suit and not give them all the things they need to make me the custom suit. So give him everything he want. So that way when he get everything he want and it don't work, and I come back to what I saw way before he got everything he wanted, I want that same energy. So I'm gonna just sit back and be like, when I tell you it's time to move on, it's time to move on. Because I'm telling you, the longer you hold on to somebody, the further you get dug into a hole, i.e. Matt Millen. I want him to get everything he wants, so I don't care what he takes.
All right, well, guys, you guys aren't dropping any questions in the chat, and that's fine. If you guys have no questions, that's fine. But there's one more thing I wanted to throw out there, and that is this. Okay, so the NFL is considering shortening the season or possibly not having fans in the stadiums while they play. I want to ask you guys how you think this might affect the Lions going forward. Let's start off with you, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's probably a good thing for the Lions. I mean, a lot of teams, you look at Seattle, you look at their stadiums and how loud their freaking stadiums are. And that when you're playing away and you literally can't talk to your team in the huddle to even get the play call out, or when you're at the line of scrimmage and you're trying to audible and do all these things and, kind of tell your players like, yo, we're changing to a run, or, whatever it is, like that causes big problems. And there's a lot of stadiums out there that their fan base is so strong and so passionate that they disrupt the other teams all the time. Our fan base, I've seen it happen in person a couple of times, especially against the Chargers. We were so freaking loud that the Chargers had to keep taking timeouts because they couldn't get their play calls together and everything and communicate well. So as far as the Lions and our team, I think it would be a fantastic thing if there weren't as many fans and they could just kind of play ball instead of having, the decibel meter hit like 130 or some crazy crap. So I would hate it as a fan because I love seeing the support and I love going to the games. But as far as our team, I think it would be a good thing.
All right, that's interesting. Why don't you go ahead, Luke?
I don't think it affects it anyway. I think when they say short, they just mean no preseason. That's it. I don't think they mean get rid of. They're not. Listen, there's too many sponsors, too much money in those games, TV revenues and stuff. They ain't taking no hit like that. They over there talking to their NBA friends and the MLB and everybody. They like, bro, y'all okay? You want me to loan you a couple mil? They know what it is. They know what it is. NFL is king in America. It used to be baseball, but it's NFL. It's king. And at best, they just may knock out 3 preseason games or 1 preseason game, but they not finna shorten the season. They'll play those games. They'll play those games in an empty stadium and find a way for it to be inclusive as all possible for the viewer before they just cut the season short. I don't see it coming.
Yeah, I don't either, to be honest with you. I don't see that happening. I agree with everything that Luke just said. Too much money invested into it, and I don't even like them doing the them adding the 17 game. I don't like that and taking away the bye. I don't like that, but we'll just have to see where they do with it. But I'm with Luke on this one 100%. I don't. It's too much of a cash cow, especially when they cut the owners a check, for $250 million a year. That's so you do the math on that and tell me what your numbers look like. So they're a multi-billion-dollar business. They're not gonna shorten the season or anything like that. I don't see that happening.
All right. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm with you guys. They probably wouldn't, but if they were forced to, it would be interesting for a team like the Lions because, especially if they played with no fans. Because I agree with Andrew. Like, it was like a Green Bay player. I think it was like James Jones or something like that saying how
Jones punk self.
you already knew where I was going,
I know
J-Mo.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know
exactly
what you're talking about. The segment on Total Access or something like that.
Right. He was saying that the Lions fans pretty much suck and that playing there is pretty much like playing in a practice facility, which I completely disagree with because I've been at the games and seen how loud it's been. And I've been to Bears games and I've seen how loud they've been. So it's not that much different. And then on top of that, but if that's true, if he's right, I'm not a player. I don't know. I'm not on the field. Maybe when you're on the field, it's completely different. You can't hear the crowd because of the acoustics in the stadium or whatever. But the fact is, if he's right, then I think, Andrew, you're correct. I think that playing with no fans in the stadium would be a benefit for the Lions because then they'd go to opposing stadiums and it'd be like how opposing teams come to us and playing like quote unquote in a practice arena. So I think it might, benefit us in that regard. But I agree with Luke. I feel like, they're not going to cancel any games, especially because it's probably going to get better by the time. I don't know, but it seems like from what the news is saying, it's going to get better around that time anyway. So, J-Mo, what do you think?
The NFL ain't giving up no money. I know many of y'all might not have seen Concussion, but on Concussion, the dude was
my God.
We stole Sunday from God. You think you can mess with the NFL? And that's how they feel. They feel like they hijacked the whole.
We stole Sunday from what?
You watch Concussion, man. That's what the dude said in Concussion. And speaking of concussions, look how they treat concussions. But the NFL is like a big whole company conglomerate of nothing but billions of dollars running through it. They ain't stopping these games. If they have to play the games and record it and then play it on a different day, they will do that. And have us tune in on that day. There's no way they're stopping these games. They might cut out some preseason games, but I do think it would help out the Lions on some of these road games. But also, James Jones is so wrong. This got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I was at the Chiefs game. Patrick Mahomes looked all out of sorts. He couldn't make no play calls, and he was shook. I was at the game. He was shook. He was missing plays. I know he lost. He was shook because of that atmosphere. When Phillip Rivers was in the atmosphere of that Chargers game that I was at, and he threw that pick, it was so loud in that building. So
facts, bro.
I don't know about all that, but I don't think it would hurt us at all, to be honest with you.
You look at other teams like the Saints. They play in the dome, and you know how loud the Superdome gets. Like it gets loud in there. Arrowhead.
Let's get to this question. I don't want to cut you off the moment, but we almost hit the 2 hour mark. And I want to get to this question because I think it's a very good question, and then we can do our final remarks and get off because we have been on for 2 hours.
Yes.
So this question is: which corner would you rather have, Okudah or Arnett? I'm going to say Arnett because he's not going to cost me a high draft pick to get him, and he's more battle tested. In fact, Arnett was the one who was covering all the top receivers in that defense.
I was going to say Arnett as well because I don't want to say I think he's better than Okudah, but I think it's really close. And he's
more battle tested.
He's just very underrated. Like because I don't know why Okudah is like the shiny toy over there now, but just like you said, Arnett's been more battle tested. And like you said, I don't have to spend the 6th overall pick on Arnett. And I think Arnett is pretty good. I've been doing a lot of looking to him, and I'm a Michigan fan, so I watch when they kill us every year.
So where is he projected to go?
He's like
probably 3rd or 4th
in his second. No, I don't know.
He's like 2nd, 3rd.
I don't know how much you can talk about Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper said he was a 2nd round grade prospect.
Day 2.
Right. So if Mel Kiper says 2nd, you got to bump it up one because Mel Kiper ain't been right since he started doing his thing. So that's why I said third or fourth. If Mel Kiper said somebody's a first round pick, they probably a second.
All right, so Bob Quinn's gonna get him in the 5th. That's what I'm hearing from you guys.
Hey, right.
I would be happy as hell, bro.
Yeah, next Amani.
I would take Okuda, but that's just I haven't studied Arnett's film, but I would just take Okuda just because in the film that I've seen in him, he doesn't have like a whole lot of flaws in his game. If there's any flaws in his game from what I see is that he gets a little bit safe in coverage and he probably plays off the ball a little bit, but his press coverage, his instincts, like his ability to go in phase and be able to match with his the way he pivots his hip is second to none. So if you ask me, I'm taking that guy, but I haven't also studied Arnett, so so that's where I'm coming from with it.
Got you. Yeah, you've been spitting facts all day, Damone. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody in the chat. This has been a really, really great episode. With all the changes, that we talked about at the beginning of the DSA, I just want to adamantly state that, DSA is as strong as it's ever been. We've added guys like, Jim Bordeaux from Lions on the Prowl. He's a great guy. He's been getting, amazing guests, which is just out of this world. And obviously he's been in the game for a while on iHeartRadio. He's pretty new to the YouTube space, but he's not new to the game of talking Lions is what I'm trying to say. And he knows his stuff. And then also we have the newest member of the DSA, which is Rachel from Rachel Marie Sports. And, if you guys haven't seen her content, her original content, it's hilarious. It's really good. I love her channel so far. I just got onto her channel from her being added to the DSA, and trust me, she's worth the subscription for sure. So please subscribe to everybody on the DSA. Click the description, and all the links are there. So go ahead and do that. You definitely want to do that because we're going to have rotating, where we're going to have the roundtable. It's been rotating for a while. I mean, I know you guys already know this, but I got to keep saying it, So why don't we go on with our last words for the chat? Damone, why don't we start off with you, bro?
I just want to say thank you, gentlemen, for listening to me ramble and go on. I appreciate it. I had a good time. Shout out to J-Mo. He was the one who actually dropped the link in one of my Twitter threads or something like that. And then I actually started to watching. I caught on, and I like what you guys and gals been doing ever since then. So
appreciate
like
it.
I said, yeah, I just want to say, thank you for having me. I had a good time, and hopefully I could be on the show again. And like I said, thanks for having me. Be safe out there, y'all. So.
Absolutely. And you never have to apologize for rambling when you're spitting facts, bro. So keep it going. And we appreciate the optimism as well. It's fresh to have it here.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry, go ahead. You know what, Luke? Go ahead, my brother.
No, I'll just tell them I love it. I was agreeing with you. Like, in other words, just letting them know I love the positive take on it, because usually people just come on and you ask them, well, why you like Patricia? And it's the same response. He's changing the culture, man. He's changing the culture. And you hit us with some stuff that they wasn't saying, philosophy and stuff like that. So I love it. Just want to, give you your props. That's all.
Absolutely. Well, why don't okay, so yeah, for sure. Andrew, why don't you say your last words for the chat?
Hey, I just want to say, take that second to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you press that bell. So when we're actually going live, you get notified and you can hop on and join the chat and kind of just, say your piece. Let us know what you're thinking, what you think about what we're saying, and then ask any questions you have.
Yeah, definitely ask the questions, guys, because I heard J-Mo say it on the last show, and he's 100% right. You guys have all these questions during the show, and then once it comes time to ask the questions, there's nobody around to ask any questions. J-Mo, why don't you say your last words for the people in the chat, bro?
As Dylan just said, man, y'all be pissing me off. Like, we be trying to get through the topics. We be having discussions, and it's 50 questions in the chat. Then we be like, yo, can we just get one question? 20 minutes later, no questions. Come on, guys, man. We got to do better as a group. Shout out to all of the people in the chat, everybody that came through today. Make sure you like the video if you haven't. And all I got to say is I hope we do great in the draft, because I'll keep saying it because this is how I feel, man. This is going to be the last year, because after this year, Stafford could be gone, and then our franchise is going to be garbage again. So I pray that we are a great football team. I'm trying to have some optimism. even though I don't like the coach that much, but hopefully Stafford can create another miracle. We've seen him do it before. And I want to say one thing, Bob Quinn, if you take a quarterback at 3, y'all ain't gonna hear from J-Mo no more, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like, y'all ain't gonna hear from me no more because y'all don't want to see that video.
Man. The stuff I'm gonna get on my Twitter thread. Oh my God.
Boy.
Oh my God.
Y'all don't want to see that video. That might be the day I go viral, like for real, all over Twitter, like crazy Lion fan cusses out coach. That's gonna be me.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Definitely thank you for coming on, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to his Twitter handle. It's the same as his name. Subscribe to me at 313 JMO, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. It's always great to get on here and talk Lions with y'all.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what the DSA is about. Bringing in new guys like Damone. If any of you guys in the chat, if you guys want to come on, it's always available. The invitation's open. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We want passionate Lions. We want passionate Lions talk from passionate Lions fans. And that's exactly what the DSA is about. Regardless if we're, debating, arguing, all agreeing, all we want is to have the best conversations out there about the Lions. And, you don't get that in the national media. So we provide that. So listen, guys, subscribe to everybody in the DSA. And if you're a real Detroit Lions fan, I want you to click on the subscribe button on my channel because that is exactly what we're about as well. Andrew and I, we are diehard, passionate Lions fans. We say it all the time. We're not YouTubers. We're not sports pundits. We are Lions fans. Yes, we break down film. Yes, we play fantasy and stuff like that. But first and foremost, we are Lions fans. We love the Lions and love talking Lions. And that is the end. That literally, period. We are Lions fans. That's it. Now, Luke, why don't you take us away with your final words?
Hey, as always, man. Excuse me. Listen, I just want to let y'all know that we enjoy when y'all here. The thing about this community of Lion fans is this is just fun to do. Like if there was nobody watching, if it was 1,000 people watching, this would still be fun to do because the Lion fan base is so unique in a way that you can't overlook it. And to me, I just look at the standpoint of always make sure that you do something in a positive light. So today's positive quote comes from an unlikely person, somebody that I don't think y'all would probably think gives a positive message, and that has come from one Darth Vader. That's correct, people. That's Darth Vader from Star Wars. His quote says, "You don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master." Now, y'all may be saying, why is that a positive quote? Because what he's telling you is that the only thing and the only person you should be competing against is yourself. There is nobody else that can outdo you like you. Nobody can outrun you but you. Nobody can give up but you. Nobody can accept bad moments but you. What he is saying is he is the master of his fate. You should be the masters of your fate. You should be the person to compete against yourself. And make sure that when you compete against yourself, just because you won that time, challenge yourself to do it again. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you subscribe to all the members of the DSA. Make sure that you are staying safe, washing your hands, and making sure that you are doing everything in your power to be able to be here for those who care about you. And as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research.